Joyce, and I'm here with Paul and Warda, and this is I'm Not the Expert, but this is a podcast where we discuss everything from quantum physics to the latest episode of South Park and everything in between. So grab a cup of tea, pull up a chair and join us.
You're the most overthinking-y person I've ever met.
You should see me thinking about does she like me or not. Okay, we've covered zombies.
Yep.
And did we discuss the prepper episode?
Not yet, no. You did mention it to me already.
We did mention it, didn't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get around to
Not that we're preppers. I'm
No.
not prepped for anything ever. And this,
it. Dude, I don't even prep for this podcast.
yeah,
No, I do, honestly, I do. Sometimes.
yeah, no, he doesn't, folks.
Now, Dell's been leading for a while now. He's coming up with some really great ideas, so I'm just a passenger. I'm just along for the ride.
Okay. Zombies and werewolves and vampires.
Oh my.
Werewolves are up next.
Rightio. Now, just kind of cards on the table here, full disclosure. My knowledge of werewolves begins and ends with Michael J. Fox.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I didn't even look at Michael J. Fox
I didn't think you
in
would.
this. No, it's not that. Oh, I'm not fucking doing it. It didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
It was just not something I looked at. The origins of werewolves is a lot less. If you listened to Zombies that we did that dropped last Friday, you'll have listened to us talking about how the victims were the zombies.
That's right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how
And how pop culture kind of
took away that
Yeah.
and made them the problem.
subverted that, yeah.
Yeah.
Turned them into the baddies now.
And if you don't know what the fuck we're talking about,
Go listen to Zombies.
yeah, because it's well worth it. Werewolves is quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Werewolves, not that they were ever sympathized with, murderous comes to mind.
Right, okay. Okay, and again, Hollywood subverting that again. American Werewolf in Paris and even Teen Wolf to an extent, and certainly Harry Potter when they done the werewolf thing, they kind of very much had the person turning into a werewolf as the victim
Okay.
in those circumstances. But
You're
going
talking
back into mythology, it's not the case though, is it?
No. You're talking about cinema.
Yeah, no, yeah,
And no,
that's what
not
I'm saying. Hollywood
no.
subverting
Okay.
it again. Yeah,
right,
yeah.
okay. The first records of the word werewolf, as we understand it, is more or less unknown in the sense that they can't definitively put a finger on a page and say, that's the origin.
Yeah, there's the
That's
first
where it
mention
came
of a
from,
werewolf.
okay?
like.
An early mention of it, though, is in it's an epic, I suppose, Gilgamesh.
Okay, right, yeah.
Not, as I thought, the Smurfs guy.
Gargamel.
It was Gargamel, but Gilgamesh.
What was Gargamel's cat called?
I don't fucking know.
You must know Gargamel's cat.
I remember nothing from the Smurfs apart from there was only one girl, which was really weird,
Yeah,
and they were blue.
Smurfette, yeah. Well, I can't remember Gargamel's cat either, and it's wrecking my head now. But
You keep doing this.
what?
Yeah. What was the name of the two fucking cranes in?
Oh,
Harry
that's
Potter?
right.
And
yeah.
you didn't know the names.
Samson and Goliath. You see,
Yeah.
I won't forget them again. Go on, get back on track.
Okay. Gilgamesh was the protagonist in a poem written in the 2nd century BCE. And he was Gilgamesh in that poem was based on a Sumerian king who was posthumously deified. Okay? So he was made a saint to some extent.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah. Gilgamesh in the poem jilted a potential lover because she turned her previous mate into a wolf.
Okay.
As you do.
As you do.
Yeah. So is it any wonder she was jilted?
Yeah. Although,
But that's the mention of.
was he not afraid to jilt her? Heaven knows what you turn him into.
Well, maybe it's not a spell, a hocus pocus spell that I cast on you. Maybe it has to be a close up.
Oh, yes.
You
now
know,
I
that
get
kind
you,
of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, like a praying mantis.
I don't know. I didn't even look for the poem. It didn't occur to me.
It sounds, it sounds like that might be it, yeah.
Yeah, but something like that. But that's the first mention of werewolf Inverted
Okay.
commas.
Right.
Another mention comes from Greek mythology.
There's those Greeks again.
Yep, in the legend of Lycaon, or
Yeah, well, there you go.
Lycaon.
Lyceum, yeah.
Lycaon.
And it's got that wolfy kind of...
Lycaon, and that's what I'm calling him, son of Pelasgus, angered Zeus. Fucking blew my mind. Wait until you hear this, right?
Okay.
Lycaon, son of Pelasgus, angered Zeus when he served him a meal made from the remains of a sacrificed child.
Oh, lovely.
I haven't finished from a sacrificed child.
And it was cold, so Zeus wasn't impressed.
The sacrificed child was his own son, just so Lycaon could
Zeus'
see.
son
Just
or-
no, Zeus had loads of sons.
I know, yeah, so
No.
Lyceum's son.
Lycaon sacrificed his own son just so he could test if Zeus was all-knowing.
Okay.
How fucked up is that? And I know it's only a legend and it's a myth, blah, 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 blah. But that came from somebody's mind.
Yeah, but didn't Abraham do the
That's
same in the Bible
fucking-
as well?
Yeah, wasn't that? That's all stolen from.
Oh, yeah, it's just...
Yeah,
there you go. There's the Abraham myth right there.
Yeah, but killed and cooked his own son and served him to the god Zeus just to see if Zeus is all-knowing.
Right, and why was
As
Zeus
opposed to saying, Zeus, okay, you think you're all-knowing? How many fingers am I holding up behind my back?
angry?
He had to go and kill his own son.
Right,
Right? That's so fucked up.
okay. And why was Zeus angry at this?
Why?
Yeah.
Because he was served. He was tested,
Right.
but he was also served a sacrificed child. How
Yeah.
could that not make you fucking angry?
Well, they're not there to sacrifice children all the time.
No, they drank ambrosia.
Okay.
Nectar of the gods kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no,
Yeah.
I thought kind of, sacrifice to the gods was quite a common thing, no?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the gods came down and fucking ate it.
Yeah, true.
Zeus was so mad, he turned Lycaon and his sons, his remaining sons,
Right.
into wolves.
Okay.
I can't get past the fact that he killed his own son and served him to Zeus.
Yeah, it's pretty standard stuff for that
So
period there.
dark. That's
All
so
those myths and legends are
fucked
all
up.
full of infanticide, man.
Jesus. Anyway, werewolves also appear in Nordic folklore.
Yeah, which I
The
think...
saga of the Volsungs, Volsungs, is the story of a father and son who discover wolf pelts. I don't know how you discover a wolf pelt, but they discover wolf pelts that have, maybe they kill the wolves and discovered that the wolf pelts have the magic ability to turn the wearer into a wolf for 10 days.
Okay, that's kind of Game of Thronesy, isn't it? Did you watch Game of Thrones?
No, never.
Did you
seen
not
it.
watch it?
No,
That's quite good.
no,
I never finished it. I've only watched like
no.
2 or 3 seasons. But yeah, the Starks are very much embodied by wolves. I think one of them does eventually turn into a wolf. I'm not sure if...
Sounds stupid.
It's a very good show, though. It is a very good show.
It's probably taken from this story.
Oh, yeah. There's loads of
yeah.
stuff. That's... Yeah.
But they turns the wearer into a wolf for 10 days. The father and son went on a killing spree that only ended when the father attacked the son, inflicting a lethal wound. So they put on these
Wolf pelts and went
wolf
basically
pelts and
wolf
they
crazy.
just go fucking bloodlust and kill everything and everybody. And
Okay.
then the father, in one of the rages, the whatevers, attacks the son and fatally wounds him. The son only survived because a kindly raven gave the dad a magical leaf, as you fucking do.
As you do. And a raven doing good in a myth.
Yeah,
That's novel.
yeah, you know what?
That's novel. Raven's
Go.
usually the bad guy.
Go Corvids.
Yeah.
That's that whole thing. Like, I read it and I obviously paraphrased it, but it read like a movie that someone's making, and they've done Act 1. They kill the wolves and they skin them, and then they put the cloak on, the wolf pelt on, and they realize it has magical properties, and the adventure begins, which is the beginning of Act 2, when the adventure begins.
Yeah.
And then they go through the adventure and go on a killing spree, and then come out of it after 10 days. Then they go on another killing spree, blah, 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 blah. And Act 2 ends when the dad mortally and fatally wounds the child. But this raven shows up, and it's like the writers went,
We
lads,
all live
I
happily
don't know
ever
how
after."
to fucking end this.
Yeah.
How are we going to do it? Here's a magical leaf. You know, that kind of thing. It's a really fucking bad end.
We all live happily ever
Yeah,
after, yeah. Very
So
good.
the son survived because a raven gave the dad a magical leaf and he fixed his wound. And it
And of
doesn't
course,
say
the dad was full of remorse once the kind of spell of the wolf wore off, like, and he realised what he had done.
he only realised what he'd done after he lethally wounded
Yeah.
his child,
Yeah.
as opposed to killing all the other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But it doesn't say...
Isn't that the whole werewolf thing, though? That, like, when you turn into the wolf, like, you don't realise what you're doing. Like, you don't remember it, even when you turn
No,
back
it's
into
just a
human.
primal.
You have no memory of it, like.
Yeah. But, you know, isn't that what the Hulk was in the early days?
Pretty much, yeah.
You go fucking ballistic and then come out and go, what happened?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, same kind of thing.
Okay. All of these werewolf myths, and there were loads of them, and we'll get into them later on. All of these werewolf myths were fantastical stories, I think, that were came from actual events that happened. Lots of people did get killed, and they got legend status, and they were mythologized, if that's the word you use.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And it was medieval serial killers.
Right.
Because, I mean, that didn't just come up in the
Yeah,
last...
yeah,
You know
like
what I mean?
unsolved mysteries kind of thing.
Yeah. So there were lots of people killed. And it must have been a fucking werewolf. Look at the state of that victim. That has to be an animal.
Yeah.
And, you know, Chinese whisper goes around and, you know, what happened over there? And it goes all the way around and it comes back to it's this ravenous wolf. And because we can't find any evidence of a wolf, it's obviously because it's a man turning into a wolf and then turning back, you know. So all this kind of stuff came out. That led me down another rabbit hole.
Okay.
In 1521, Frenchmen Pierre Bourgeot and Michel Verdun allegedly swore allegiance to the devil and claimed to have an ointment that turned them into werewolves.
Okay.
After confessing to brutally murdering several children, they were both burned at the stake.
Lovely.
These guys who like to oil each other up just went out and butchered a bunch of children.
And then kill. Yeah. It's not a new phenomenon, is it?
It's been around as long as people have been around in one sense or the other. You know, that chemical imbalance or whatever it is that brings on psychopathy or some sort of psychosis. So there's always been that. Giles Garner, also French in the 16th century, also claimed the same morphing powers and committed the same horrific crimes with the addition of eating his victims.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely fella, Gio.
Yeah. So what I was saying a few minutes ago about people finding these victims half-eaten and butchered and whatever, it's, Jesus Christ, that's got to be animal attack.
Yeah.
And because what kind of animal would do this? A fucking dog. Was it your dog? It wasn't. He was in last night. It's obviously a wild dog.
Yeah.
It's a wolf. Jesus Christ, it's a wolf, everybody. And nobody finds evidence of a wolf.
Yeah, there's no
it's
wolf.
obviously a man that changed into a wolf and changed back again. Right? So all these psychopaths and serial killers were running around and were just being imagined into something they weren't.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd even go one further than that and say that it's more metaphorical, that when they're in this killing frenzy rage, they're being likened to a wolf. You know,
likened. Nice use of the word.
Yeah, sorry, likened. Very good. They're being likened to a wolf without actually, you know, literally transforming, but just like behaving like a fucking wolf, you know, ripping shit apart. Like.
Well, the whole transformation into a wolf, I think, would have been, obviously it's imagined.
Yeah.
But to
try and rationalise how.
Yeah. And to other the
so
serial killers into something that we're fucking not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
So
to try and rationalise it.
Yeah. So I think it was the medieval mind.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
like you know, fucking no mere mortal could be this fucking evil, you know, or this vicious.
There has to be something malevolently magical about them.
That level of evil.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't just happen because it hasn't happened to me and it hasn't happened to you. They're obviously a fucking werewolf. That kind of crap.
No, I get it, yeah.
Now, when you came here this morning, I was watching a video that just popped up on my YouTube timeline. Right. And I didn't research any of this on YouTube. And so, you know, it's pure coincidence or not that it
Right.
just popped up my time. But this guy, Peter Stubb, that's what the whole thing was about. Peter Stubb, also in the 16th century, was a German farmer and just as bad. He was a wealthy German farmer, okay? And that's something to remember.
Yeah, the wealthy are all bastards. Anyway.
That's not even the angle I was coming at. But yeah, we'll circle back around to that. He terrorized Bedburg, killing and eating dozens of victims. Bedburg is just outside Cologne in Germany.
Okay.
He confessed under torture
Oh, lovely.
to all the murders and to also owning an enchanted belt that allowed him to transform into a werewolf.
Torture, yeah, that's
Questions
That's
fucking
reliable.
raised,
reliable.
eyebrow firmly cocked.
Yeah.
He's a fucking tortured confession.
Yeah.
He was executed, but no enchanted belt was ever found.
Hmm.
Now, the fact that
Kill
he
surprise.
was, a wealthy farmer,
Right.
I would think
Put a target on his back.
it may put a target on his back.
Mm.
It may have been that he was, as you alluded to a couple of minutes ago, a fucker of a landlord or an employer or whatever it was. Or it may be that he was a wealthy farmer and somebody went, I want that fucking land.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
More likely, actually, yeah.
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 And a tortured confession
Mm.
just makes me...
Were the church involved anywhere here?
I haven't a clue. I haven't a clue.
Sounds
But
like they're
this is
MO, isn't it?
16th century Europe.
Yeah.
You know, I would lean towards yes.
Yeah. And you said he was born at the stake, was he?
No, I said
No.
he was executed. Wait until we
sorry.
get on to how he
Okay.
fucking died.
All right, well, I might be able to tell you if it was the church or not then. They had their MO, you know?
Yeah, they did. Okay.
Go on.
I was going to leave it to later, but we might as well do it now so you can tell me the church's MO.
All right, okay.
Peter Stubb, and this is what I've written in brackets, coerced admission. So Peter Stubb's coerced admission of guilt. For that, he was strapped to a cart wheel. His skin was removed with a hot pincers.
Ugh.
His head was chopped off and he was burned at the stake.
Yeah, definitely the church. Hung, drawn, quartered and burned, basically. Well, he was drawn, quartered and burned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stubbs'
Church is all over.
Stubbs' head was carved into the likeness of a wolf and mounted on a stake as a warning to anyone who might consider doing a deal with the devil.
There you go. There's the church right there then, isn't it?
Yeah. But the whole coerced admission of guilt landowner just points to me as somebody who was a fucking patsy.
Someone who coveted their
Maybe
neighbour's
he was a
goods.
psychopath. Maybe he's a psychopath whose dad had lots of land, had a big farm, and he inherited it. But he's this psychopath that fucking kills and butchers and eats people. I'm not saying he was innocent.
Is there any evidence that he wasn't, though?
I've no evidence that he was. I've no evidence that he wasn't. But the fact that it was a coerced admission.
Yeah.
The fact that accusations like that stood and his coerced admission stood and that was his execution nailed on. It was going to happen. And the fact that he had an enchanted fucking belt.
That was never found.
Which I read was an enchanted girdle. Because, you know, belt wasn't a belt then.
Yeah.
So he had an enchanted belt that they never found. And I'm sure he had lots of belt and braces and whatnot. And everybody tried them on. They went, nope, this is not the one. He obviously ate it or burned it or something like that. But the fact that none of this shit was ever found, guy was a patsy.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Sounds that way to me, yeah.
And it was, what the
just so happened that he owned a lot of,
fuck?
A lot of good land, you know?
Or something. You know?
Yeah,
so,
no, sounds like it there, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you.
Lads, make your own mind up, but I just think it all stinks. But that's me, I'm a
stinks of wolf
fucker.
shit.
In 1725, a guy called Peter the Wild Guy was found wandering naked through a forest in Germany on all fours. He ate with his hands and he couldn't talk.
Okay.
He was eventually adopted by the courts of King George I and King George II.
Is this the kind of Tarzan kind of thingy, kind of raised by animals?
Maybe the Lord Greystoke thing, that's where it came from.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it inspired that.
That's that kind of, yeah.
Research has shown, and this was discovered in 1978, so it's like a long time afterwards. Research has shown that Peter likely suffered from pit Hopkins disease,
Okay.
which was discovered, as I said, in 1978, which causes lack of speech, seizures, distinct facial features, difficulty breathing, and intellectual challenges,
Okay.
which explains
A lot of
everything I
stuff.
described about
Yeah.
being found naked, walking on all fours, eating with your hands, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
200 years before the witch trials of Salem, which was a fucking disgrace and
I
still
know,
makes me
yeah,
angry.
yeah.
Jesus, it pisses me off.
I love that. Seeing something there recently on it. They didn't born witches in Salem. They born women. You know,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
let's
Call it what it is.
let's call it what it is. They born women at the stake.
And the thing that resonates around my head constantly is one of the last victims that was burned
Yeah, it
for
was
speaking
Irish.
tongues.
Yeah, she was
She was
speaking
speaking
Irish.
tongues.
Yeah,
And they were like, witch, 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 witch.
Yeah.
And they burned her, was speaking Irish.
yeah, 'cause she didn't speak English. Yeah,
Fucking
yeah.
kills me.
Have you been to Salem though?
No.
I have.
No.
I
no.
was there in 2000.
I think
Lovely
I'd
little
spend all
town.
my time walking around Salem being angry.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
I would.
But it's very tacky. They have like hares fucking tours where you go around all the haunted sites and in a
Bullshit like
hearse and
that,
stuff.
yeah,
Like, and
yeah.
it's like Halloween all year round. You know, all the
Do you ever see that in The Simpsons?
no.
They go to Itchy and Scratchy Land and they do stuff as a family, and then Homer and Marge are exhausted. And they say, right, now part of being on a family vacation is taking time away from each other. So you guys go off and do what you want. Me and Homer are going over to New Year's Eve land.
Right.
So they go into this place and it's constantly New Year's Eve. And they walk in and there's a waiter and he's got champagne in glass flutes. And they take Marge and Homer take a glass each. And she says, it must be so lovely celebrating New Year over and over and over again. And the waiter says, please kill me.
Yeah, that's very much like Salem, Halloween every day.
Yeah.
But
must be fucking awful. It's the same life as living on a fucking cruise ship.
yeah,
That's
true,
awful.
Yeah.
All
But
of it. And if you've ever been on a package holiday, and we're way off fucking topic.
yeah, I'm
So
trying
I'm
to get
back
on
on it. If you've ever been on a package holiday, by the end of 2 weeks, with 3 days to go, you're
Yeah.
going, when can we fucking go home? And when I was there, every time I've been on one, and I've only been on a handful, you spend the last day sitting in the airport for hours, waiting for your flight and all that kind of crap.
Been handy
But
with that now.
everybody comes in and they're all going, we're going on our holidays and you're going home. And we were sitting there going, I can't fucking wait to go home.
I can't wait.
I don't know what you're teasing us about. We want to go home. So,
I'm done. But anyway, yeah, when we done Salem, we went to Nathaniel Hawthorne's house, you know, the author, Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Yeah.
Went to his house where they hid witches in the attic. Or sorry, they hid women in the attic who had been accused of being witches, you know. And there's all of the, hidden compartments up in the attic and stuff where they had. It kind of reminded me very much of the whole kind of Anne Frank thing.
Yeah.
It's very similar, where they hid them and if they were found out, they'd have been in trouble and blah, blah,
It's very sad here.
That's a fucked up situation.
But anyway, 200 years before the witch trials of Salem, courts in Europe were convicting men. I'm amazed it was men, and I'll talk about it in a minute, but I want to get this fact out. I'm amazed it's men and only some women, and not women and
only some
men.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were convicting men and some women of turning into werewolves and mutilating and eating victims. Again, men. More men than women.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Well,
and I'm not saying it should have been fucking women.
No,
shouldn't have fucking been anybody.
It's not. No, I don't think it's that. I think, when they wanted rid of somebody there, if it was a woman, they'd accuse her of being a witch. If it was a man, he's a werewolf.
Yeah. And landowners and anybody you've got a beef with, and in an environment of paranoia.
Anyone with power.
Yeah, see that shifty fucker over
anyone
here.
That didn't
what do you
conform.
mean by, but like, see that shifty fucker over there? What do you mean by shifty? I mean shift, shape, shift.
Shifter, yeah.
That kind of thing. And you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all blew up out of nothing and went on for far too long. But there were serial killers, and they were, as we were saying, mythologized and given this legendary wolf status. And then some fucking flat earther or something like that reads up on history and goes, they had werewolves?
Yeah, we
And-
need werewolves.
Fucking goes nuts.
Yeah.
But every culture had their werewolf legend of some description or other.
Right, okay. Isn't it mad how, myths, like in a time, when the world wasn't as connected as it is today, clear, obviously, but like, when the world wasn't really connected at all, myths are repeated, throughout different cultures all over. It's really fascinating.
Yeah,
like-
and to one extent or another, I mean, they weren't carbon copies, copy and
no,
paste.
no,
But they all...
they all evolved in their own right, but they're all along the same similar lines. It's as Joseph Campbell said in The Hero with a Thousand Faces: humanity has only told 6 stories.
Yeah.
They just keep telling the same story.
Yeah.
In a different way with a different,
Yeah, and they all dealt with it in a different way.
Yeah.
And in particular, and if you think I'm taking a shot at white people, I'm not, but
Okay.
I am.
You're allowed to because you're white and I'm white.
There was the solution to the problem for white people was burn it all fucking down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Burn them at the stake. That's not enough. Pick a skin off with a hot fucking pincers thing. Cut his head off. That's not enough. We'll stick it on a pike. Yeah, stick it on a pike. And then, nope, that's not enough. Carve it into a wolf.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This kind of... But it just fucking... As I said, I believe a lot of these werewolf stories were serial killers. The people who punished serial killers, the methods they used were no better and sometimes worse.
But I hear you on that, I do, and you could be right, but I'm more inclined to think that these were actually innocent people.
They
Who
weren't
just
all
wanted
innocent.
out of the way.
They weren't all serial killers, but they weren't all innocent.
Okay.
It's not 100% one or the other. I'm sure there were serial killers, and I'm more than sure that there were, as in the case of Peter Stubb, perhaps he was a fucking psychopath and I've just picked the wrong one, but all the evidence that was used against him that I read just seems to be he was set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wealthy landowner. Somebody wanted the land.
Yeah, and I mean, it was the same with the witch trials, you know what I mean? They didn't conform, they didn't fit with the Christian ideal, so they needed to be removed.
Yeah, that's it.
So I wondered if there is any mutilated bodies at all, or was it all just fucking made up?
Again, I'll bring you back to the fact that there were serial killers.
Yeah. No,
it's not a new thing.
No, I know that, yeah. No, I just, yeah. I'd say it was kind of a bit from column A and a bit from column B.
Definitely. 100%.
And even if there were serial killers, what I'm saying is the guy who ultimately gets accused of being the werewolf and gets blamed for this, had he anything to do with it at all?
Which is what I was using Peter Stubb as an example for.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a convenient way to remove people they didn't want,
Yeah.
Undesirables.
Yeah, it's just pause for thought. And I think about, Jesus Christ, some innocent people were killed. But then I think some fucking serial killers killed a lot of innocent people.
Yeah.
And they were eventually caught, you would hope, but not always the case. It's I'd hate to be tried in a medieval court of law.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there wasn't courts of law. They were church.
That's exactly my point. Yeah.
Inquisitions. Isn't that what they were called?
Now, in Navajo culture, a skinwalker is a harmful type of witch who has the ability to turn into or possess or disguise themselves as an animal.
Yeah. I love this myth. I love this whole idea. Now, I know it's nonsense, but I just love that Native American.
I love Native American culture. Anyway.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. The medicine man, witch doctor, I don't necessarily have a problem with.
No.
But the fact,
herbs and shit, wasn't it?
Herbs and remedies and
psychedelics.
Nature and psychedelics when they're wanted, but they knew each one to use.
Yeah.
And then again in Native American culture, in Navajo culture, and there was the Navajo, the Hopi, the Hopi and the Ute. They're all down in the Utah kind of area. The witch was called the Ye Nadlushi, Naadlooshi, Shii, Ye
Ilushi.
Nadlushi, which translate as, with it, he goes on all fours. Fucking love it.
Mm.
Brilliant. For the Navajo, it's just another facet of their spirituality, and witches have long been part of their culture,
Okay,
history,
no.
and traditions.
Yeah.
The witches, I can't help but think what our perception of witches is. You know, that, oh, witches, that's bad. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's just
but
something that I
but
was
there
brought
was
up
kind
on.
of white
you know?
witches and, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. And
no,
you hear of a
absolutely.
white witch,
Wiccan and all that
and you're
stuff,
like,
yeah.
what the fuck is that? And then when you're in your teen years or whatever, you hear a Wiccan and you go, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
All you're brought up on is the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, and even that's getting a remake now with Wicket, and we're getting to see the other side of her story now.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is great. I actually downloaded that the other day. I'm going to have a listen to it.
Witches existed in Navajo culture alongside everyone else and weren't supernatural.
No.
You're the witch doctor and you just live among us all. And I was like, how are you, pal? What's the story? How are you?
I'm very much in.
How's that stiff knee going? It's annoying me a bit. Pop over later on because I've got an herb that you can take in tea or something like that.
Yeah, and that's
so
very
they
much.
just lived among us.
In Celtic culture, would have been very similar.
Yeah.
You know, the doctor was essentially a witch because they're using all those herbs and potions. Potions is what they would have been kind of calling them at the time, I suppose.
So witch is a very loaded term.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, but it was these people that could transform into skinwalkers, wolfwalkers, kind of thing. The Navajo believe there are places, as in places in your community, in your land, you know, that's got dark fucking juju.
Okay.
There's bad energy about that place. You know, that kind of thing?
Yeah, like
the Navajo believe there are places where both good and evil are present, and those powers can be harnessed for either. So
like the Dark Side Cave in Empire Strikes Back, that kind of...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
And it was the person there didn't necessarily know how to utilize it unless they were medicine men, and they were usually men.
Yeah.
That knew the traditions and the stories and the teachings of generations past. Because you'd only find how to do something based on how it's done before. Mistakes that were made.
Yeah.
You know that kind of correct?
Trial and error.
Yeah. The medicine men learned to heal and aid their community. In other Native American cultures, like the Apache, the Hopi, and the Ute, which I mentioned earlier, all have their versions of Skinwalker.
Okay.
Each includes a version of a malevolent witch capable of transforming into an animal. And that's what I was talking about. The term witch is a very loaded term.
Yeah.
You know, it's very dark, but it wasn't necessarily dark.
No.
Okay?
And isn't, you know, even to this day, I mean, there are still practicing witches to this day, you know.
Yeah, it's just pop culture has loaded it as a negative.
I wouldn't even say pop culture. I would have said the church.
Yeah, well, they would have done it.
The medieval church, I mean, not,
yeah.
You know, not necessarily now. You know what I mean? Would have been.
Sometimes these witches evolved from living as a respected healer or spiritual guide and chose to use their powers for evil. So there was a constant choice.
Yeah.
And I'm not pretending I know anything about it or I know anything about these Native American cultures because I don't. But what I read was it's the same as everybody. You're constantly presented with a choice. Do I do the right thing here or don't?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, they were, and I don't know if they can or not, but they were mythologized and they got this legend about them that he can transform into an eagle. See those two feathers on the back of his head, on his headdress? That's indicative.
His tail.
That's indicative of his flight wings.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of correct?
Yeah, and then, you know, didn't the Native Americans all have a kind of spirit animal as well?
Yeah.
Each person would have like their own spirit animal. So, yeah. Really cool. I love that.
Really great. What would your spirit animal be?
Oh, that's a great question, Dale. I have no idea. I've been asked that before, actually. I think, on Facebook. What's your spirit animal?
These stupid.
A Tasmanian devil, I think.
Warner Brothers version.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a real thing, Paul.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I have no idea what my spirit animal is.
Me either.
A dog, I suppose. I love dogs.
I don't know. Don't know what mine would be. Probably an orangutan.
Actually, no, I do know what mine is. A ring-tailed lemur.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
That is definitely me. Yep.
Why?
Just that kind of
I don't know.
show-offy, hyper, wild.
Isn't it the opposite though?
What, ring-tailed lemur?
No, your spirit animal.
No, does it not like embody your personality?
No, I thought it was the balance to your
Well,
personality.
maybe it is. I just always assumed it was. Well, then
I
a
don't know.
sloth is probably my
I'll have to
spirit
look that
animal.
up.
If it's the opposite.
No, you're as slow as molasses anyway, so it's
No,
not
but
a
I don't
fucking
like to sit
sloth.
easy. I don't like to lie around and do nothing. That's just not me. I have to keep busy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. That's interesting. To become a skinwalker, he or she, but usually he, must be initiated by a secret society by committing the evilest of deeds, killing a close family member.
Jesus. And preferably a child and feed it to the gods.
You know, and that's the way it was. Yeah. Just to see are they all knowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say him was a fucking moron.
Mm.
Don't mess with Zeus.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go down that dark road and there's a society. No, not you go down the dark road and find a society, but there's a society amongst witch doctors. This is my take from it. And they lead you down a path and your initiation into that group, and this is the path you've chosen, is to kill a family member or a close friend to the family or something, or whatever it is. I don't know.
I'm not being flippant or kind of facetious when I keep going back to Star Wars on this. It seems George Lucas was, borrowing heavily from those kind of mythologies for the Sith.
Yeah, he didn't
stuff,
lick it off a rock when he came up with that story.
That is a very.
And they say when you write a story, draw from your experience, your life experience.
Yeah.
You know, that whole kind of thing. Like, and it may be, and I said it to you before we started recording, I fucking ruined my YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
Because I read Navajo skinwalkers. And then I went, I wonder what the fuck Skinwalker Ranch is. And so I looked up Skinwalker Ranch.
That doesn't sound good.
In the sense it's a lot of nonsense. Or what?
No, I don't know. It sounds like a fucking porn studio or something.
No. Skinwalker Ranch on Discovery Channel.
Oh, okay.
Is these guys that... Oh, excuse me. Skinwalker Ranch is these guys that there's this paranormal UFO activity.
Oh, it's like haunted house fucking shite, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah. It's...
Most haunted or whatever you call it.
Well, okay. So what they do is it's paranormal activity localized around this area, and it's a Native American area, and it came from this guy, and I can't remember the years, bought land, I think it was in Utah, and there was so much paranormal activity that he witnessed and his wife witnessed and their family witnessed, but nobody else witnessed.
Yeah.
That he sold up the land like 5 months later or 2 years later or something like that. And he moved off. These guys it's been termed Skinwalker Ranch, and these guys come to investigate it. And I would just like to add, they are all fucking white.
Charlatans.
No, they're probably charlatans, but they're white.
Yeah, okay.
They're not Native American.
No.
None of them are.
So it's cultural appropriation as much as anything else.
It's not even that it's cultural appropriation, but the very people that you want to talk to investigate your curiosities about skinwalkers, inverted commas, you don't bother your whole talking to, or you try and get to talk to and they won't talk to you because it's all fucking bollocks. Yeah, it's all bunk.
All of those reality TV shows on Discovery are fucking nonsense anyway. Ancient Aliens and all that, they're all fucking bollocks.
And
bollocks.
I read a load of people were commenting on it, and they were saying, like, as I just said, I'd just like to say they don't remotely try and talk to the people they're supposed to talk to.
Yeah.
Or they would get answers.
Like they do a massive disservice to any of that kind of...
Huge
disservice. Even the same with Ancient Aliens. Like, there is some genuinely fascinating archaeological stuff there, but they just turn it into shock jock bollocks and talk to the most, kind of controversial and outrageous people. you know, as opposed to actually taking a proper look at some genuine mysteries and actually trying to find out what really, you know,
or
they look for the
solving it
most
and say,
controversial fucking thing.
like solving it and say, this
Or
is
they never solve anything.
extremely perplexing, but here's the answer. Here's
Yeah,
what we
but they
found,
never,
and
ever do
all
that.
evidence is pointing to this being the answer, and that kind of puts it to bed.
Yeah, they
Happy
never
days.
do that.
They never do that
It's just
because
tantalizing.
solving the problem doesn't make money.
No.
And they present pseudo-scientific evidence
exactly.
as fact.
Yeah,
It's
it's
all
bollocks.
bollocks.
And
all
you know, fucking
shite.
Discovery Channel fucking have made a fucking back catalogue out of that. You know what I mean?
There's people have
Ancient
made
aliens
careers
and
out of it.
fucking everything. Yeah, absolutely. And memes. Memes have been born. You know the guy with the mad hair from Ancient Aliens? They just memed everywhere. Aliens!
I did find this, and I screenshot it because I want to read it to you, and it's quotations.
Yeah, okay.
Parents need to know that the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch is not appropriate for young or elementary age children. The intention of the series is to create fear, sometimes by obviously staged scenes of people in peril. Pseudoscientific methods are presented as credible proof of paranormal activity. People carry guns and tell stories of encountering evil, otherworldly beings.
Love.
Perhaps the most disturbing element of the series is the repeated stories and photos of mutilated cows. It should also be noted that the show's experts, in quotations, are white men, many of whom take it upon themselves to explain, again in quotations, the history and beliefs of the Navajo Ute tribes in relation to the ranch. You know, and this is obviously where I got it, about them not even talking to the fucking people they should be talking
Yeah,
to.
the actual experts in the mythological sense.
The experts of the legend, the experts of the evidence of this is what we meant when we said, etc., etc., etc. Not interested.
Yeah.
Not interested. If you watch Skinwalker Ranch, anything,
You're an idiot.
You're not an idiot. You're not an idiot.
You just want to be entertained. It's not educational.
Just stop it and do something else.
Yeah. Do something more productive.
I saw a clip for a werewolf series or movie that's coming out in December next month.
Okay.
Yeah, and it actually looks really good.
I've never watched the only werewolf movie I've ever watched is Teen Wolf, and you might be able to class the Harry Potter one. I don't know which one it is.
Which was spooky in itself.
Where your man Professor, and I mean his name is a giveaway from the start, isn't it? Professor
I don't know what his name was, but it was really well done.
Yeah, it was excellent.
It was. That's the fourth Harry Potter movie.
Yeah,
because that's where I jumped on the Harry Potter train.
That's when they start getting good.
Yeah.
When they kind of stopped being kids movies and became a bit more. Yeah. But other than that, I haven't really watched. I did watch An American Werewolf in London or Paris. Can't remember which one.
I watched American Werewolf in London
years and years ago,
and that had Nazi zombies in it.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure it did. I'm going to Google that right now, so you just talk away and fucking amuse yourself.
Lord.
Yeah, I found images. What it is in my head is he's attacked on the moors or something like that. Him and his friend are hiking, two Americans hiking, and his friend is killed, and he survives the attack, and he's taken to hospital. And before that, they go into an old English tavern that's on the moors. And you know, the gunslinger walks into a Western saloon and the piano stops and everybody looks around. It's kind of like that sensation.
Everyone's like, who's the newbie?
And they're
Who's
like, and he goes, we're walking, and some guy's going, watch yourself on the moors and blah, blah, blah. And this thing gives them a warning. And they go out walking anyway, they get attacked. The friend gets killed. He wakes up in hospital, and the nurse comes in and says, how are you this morning? And he goes, yeah, I'm feeling better, blah, blah, or whatever he says. And she opens the curtain. And this, I'm sure it was a Nazi zombie, jumps out and stabs her to death. And he wakes up at start, and it was a nightmare. The same nurse comes in, and how are you this morning? He goes, yeah. And she opens the curtains. Nothing happens. But that's the whole thing, you know. And that's what I remember from it. And I'm not even sure whether they were Nazi zombies. Just said it because we were talking about that.
Random, just throwing Nazis.
We were talking about that in... Well, fucking maybe that's all they had in the wardrobe department.
Yeah. Although it is John Landis, so I mean,
John Landis.
He's,
yeah, that's him.
He's notorious for random shit like that. Some great films, though. Some great movies.
I forgot about the young fella that gets killed in the attack on the moors.
Yeah.
If it's on the moors, I think it is. Because he pops up during the film. Like, he comes back and he's torn to shreds.
Okay. So
but he's talking to your man like it's just you sitting
on
my hospital bed talking to me, how's it going? And,
it's in his head. Like.
And he's like, yeah, totally. But he's seen him back and he was saying, you're a fucking werewolf now, kind of thing. I don't know what way it works. But yeah.
I have to go watch it again. It's been fucking years.
I probably wouldn't watch it again.
And I think the one I watched was American Werewolves in Paris anyway. Just probably a sequel.
I've never seen that. Yeah. Never seen that. The only other werewolf one I saw was what's the film I said to you?
Oh, Underworld.
Underworld. Yeah.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah. Again, you don't hear me saying, "Oh man, you've got to go and check it out."
No.
Because I didn't think it was particularly great.
Yeah, you said that was okay, and then the second one was an absolute
watchable
shit show.
It's watchable, and you won't finish it and go, well, there's 2 hours. I'm never getting back in. But you will be checking your watch while you're watching it.
I don't think we're the kind of target demographic, though, are we?
No, but I was then.
It's more of a teenager thing, is it?
Yeah, but I was then.
Is it that old? I thought that they were
2002.
Yeah, I suppose.
So, no, I wasn't a teenager, but
yeah.
I was in my 30s.
Yeah, but then you weren't the target demographic.
No, but I was the target demographic for the genre of movie.
Yeah, maybe.
For that horrible, for that horror kind of angle to it.
But isn't it it's not even as much a horror though, is it? It's kind of a PG,
it's a fantasy horror.
Yeah, it's very much a PG. It's almost like a Twilight, isn't it? Something like that. Or maybe not. I don't know. I haven't seen either of them, so I'm only going by the kind of trailers.
Nothing like Twilight.
Is it not? Okay.
No, it's not.
I got a sense it was that kind of genre,
Me and everyone listening to this is laughing at you saying it's just like Twilight.
Well, I've never seen Twilight, so it's a better love story than Twilight, though.
It's not a love story.
I know. It's still a better love story than Twilight.
Yeah.
You know that's a meme, Dale, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't watch many memes.
Yeah, well, no, yeah. There was a meme like, horrendous breakdown or fucking divorce or something, someone go, still a better love story than Twilight.
I knew it was something in my fucking head.
What?
The Howling.
Oh, right, yeah.
The Howling.
Heard of it, never seen it.
The blurb on The Howling.
Right.
After a bizarre and deadly encounter with a serial killer, a television newswoman is sent to a remote mountain resort whose residents may not be what they seem.
Yeah, slasher movie.
It's a slasher movie, but they incorporate the serial killer.
Okay.
Which may just be an arbitrary thing here, but it actually fucking means something.
Yeah, well, come here. I'm the last person in the world you should be having this conversation with. This is just not my genre at all. Like, I won't have seen any of the
zombies wasn't, and this really isn't.
Horror just isn't. It just isn't my thing at all.
So you've never seen Dog Soldiers then?
I have seen Dog Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers is great.
That was the World War I one, where they're in the trench and they start running into werewolves.
No.
Isn't it?
It's soldiers on a routine military exercise in Scottish wilderness, and they're fighting werewolves.
No, I have. Yeah,
I haven't seen it in
that
years.
one. There's another one as well where they're on the eve of the Somme. They're about to go over the top of the Somme.
Yeah.
And a werewolf basically attacks them in the trench, and they all become werewolves. And it's a fucking terrible movie. A fucking dreadful movie. Is that not Dog Soldiers?
No. Dog Soldiers was.
Oh yeah, no. I remember Dog Soldiers now that you mention it. Was Christopher Eccleston in that?
Sean Pertwee was.
Sean Pertwee, yes.
Did you ever see A Company of Wolves?
No.
A Company of Wolves, I saw it on Channel 4 years and years and years ago. It might have been the 1980s, and it would have been around Halloween time maybe.
Yeah.
And it's the freakiest, fucking disturbing thing that I've ever seen. It was so disturbing.
I love late night Channel 4 movies back in the 80s. They were so fucking funny. And you were guaranteed nudity.
Okay.
Boobies.
Well, every teenage boy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I was exempt from it.
No.
Because I'd be like, nice one.
Yeah.
But
they were usually French films that we had no idea what was going on.
A Company of Wolves. It was really, really disturbing. And there was nudity in it.
Yes, of
Not
course it was.
nudity, there were boobs in it.
Yes.
But it seems like it was a Victorian era thing. You know, the what are those films? What do we say they were called?
Period drama.
Period dramas. It seems
Erotic
like it was period drama.
More so,
And
yeah.
I haven't seen it in years. And they're all at this banquet in this kind of fucking marquee kind of thing, right? And they're all eating too much of it. It's gluttonous, and they're handfuls of food and tasting this and tasting that. And for some reason, one of them starts to turn into a wolf. All of them start to turn into wolves, and I have no idea why. Maybe they're fed something. I don't remember that well, and I was too freaked out about it to follow the story. But they all started to turn into werewolves and tear their clothes off. And you see boobs, but you see hairs sprouting out. So it's a real mixed bag of, should I be kind of, is this alluring or disturbing?
Is this titillating? No.
Yeah.
Hairy boobs? No.
Yeah. So it was weird.
Yeah.
It
sounds like it's one of those, in the same kind of vein as The Wicker Man and those kind of 70s British horror movies that were in vogue. Erotic horror almost, where there was...
Company Wolves was 80s, I think.
Right, yeah. Yeah, but that kind of late 70s, early 80s, The Wicker Man and stuff like that. There's other ones as well.
It was a little more contemporary than Wicker Man.
Right.
But I know what you're getting at.
That kind of, kind of low budget, lots of nudity.
No, I don't even remember there was that much nudity. I just remembered that bit. Yeah. It was really fucking... And I don't think I watched much after that. And I think it came on again years later, and I was like, I remember this. I started watching it and just found it boring. I didn't want to watch it. And I don't like period drama, so that's really bad place to start with me.
Yeah, like, if I don't like slasher horror, I certainly don't like period drama.
It was directed by Neil Jordan.
Okay.
Angela Lansbury's in it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it wasn't her that was pinning herself out of her clothes.
Okay, well, I would hope so.
But yeah.
Murder, She Wrote.
Murder, She Wrote, yeah. I never watched one of them either.
I've seen one or two.
Have you?
Fucking grandmother used to have it on all the time. My ma used to watch it the odd time as well.
The Curse of the Werewolf. Did you ever?
No.
The Curse of the Werewolf, me either.
Well, hang on now. Is that not the black and white hammer horror one? Was that the Curse of the Werewolf?
No. You're probably thinking about the Wolfman.
Or the Wereman. Is it the Wereman?
No, it's not the Wereman. Wereman's a terrible title for anything.
Maybe it was the Wolfman.
It was the Wolfman. Fucking... The Curse of the Werewolf was 18th century Spain. An adopted boy becomes a werewolf, we don't know why, and terrorizes the inhabitants of a town.
Cool.
Okay. And have you ever seen, what is the Hugh Jackman werewolf vampire hunter?
Oh, Van Helsing.
Van Helsing. Yeah. Yes. Did you ever see Van Helsing?
Years ago.
And I know we're talking about vampires, but there's
only
one
Van Helsing
episode.
There's only one Van Helsing, and it is not fucking Hugh Jackman.
Awful film. Awful film.
No. Peter Cushing is fucking Van Helsing.
Terrible film.
And we'll get on to that when we go to
terrible
vampires.
Film. I can't remember your woman's name in it, but she's a really good actress. She's an English actress.
Keira Knightley. No, it's not Keira Knightley.
No, it's not Keira Knightley. She's really good too, though. It was your woman that was in Underworld, but you haven't seen that.
Oh, it's not. She's an Enemy at the Gates. What's her fucking name?
Yeah.
She's Welsh, by the way.
She's not. She's fucking English.
Not Catherine Zeta-Jones. The other one.
Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, okay. No, that's not who I was thinking of.
Okay, Kate Beckinsale is in Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman.
Okay.
And they're both fighting.
She is a good actress.
Vampires.
Werewolves.
No.
And zombies, oh my.
They're fighting vampires, and she ends up, I'm not sure how, but she gets killed at the end. Spoiler alert, sorry lads. And he has her in his arms, and she's lying back, her head is back, and she's dead.
And her eyes open.
And no, she's dead.
She's a vampire.
No, she's dead. And the vampire plague has been stopped. She's dead. She's done. No mass. She's gone.
Yeah.
The full moon the clouds cleared the full moon, and he turns into a werewolf. And he's lamenting her death, and he goes, no. It's fucking awful.
Well, like, you know, Van Helsing is the hero from Dracula, yeah?
Yeah.
Just wasn't sure whether you knew that because you hadn't mentioned it. But
No.
yeah, which is really weird because Peter Cushing plays him in the old Hammer, you know.
Yeah, no, I
Hammer
didn't mention
Draculas.
it because the
And
final part to this is vampires.
yeah, which we are going to get on to, and I'm going to
Yeah,
hold that thought on Peter
exactly,
Cushing
yeah.
until then. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
No, yeah, but no, go on.
I know, I
You
will.
talk
No,
about
just I always found it fascinating that, for me, Peter Cushing was famous. And again, we're going to bring Star Wars up again. Jesus, this was not planned. He's Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars. Like, he's the ultimate evil in the first
you
Star
said
Wars
that in
movie.
the last one, wasn't it? He's the ultimate.
Like, bad guy. He's the
Not the ultimate bad guy. He is the ultimate bad guy.
Yeah.
But he's the ultimate franchise actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's the ultimate bad guy in Star Wars, and yeah, he's the good guy in Dracula. But he's still a scary motherfucker in that too. Like, he's just a scary looking guy, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of weird that he's
excellent.
Yeah,
But
he was brilliant.
Yes,
Yeah.
Van Helsing, Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, awful.
Awful fucking movie.
And I'm going to say it's nothing to do with either of them because they're
No,
both quality actors.
Two excellent actors. Yeah. It's just
But
it was
fucking
low budget,
awful.
really badly.
That wasn't
scripted.
low budget.
Was it not?
Very high budget.
Was that not like straight to DVD? No.
No, very high budget. If it went straight to DVD, that's because it sucked.
Probably, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was straight to DVD. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking.
But, awful fucking movie. Awful movie. There we go.
So that's it.
Wrap
One
it
last
up.
thing. One last thing.
Yeah.
There's a quote I found that I never mentioned about Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it is. It's known as UFO Alley,
Jesus. Okay. Yeah.
which is exactly what I thought. And there was a quote from a local filmmaker, and I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say where it was quoted.
Right.
And he said, "You can't throw a rock in southern Utah without hitting somebody who's been abducted."
Okay.
On that note, see you for Vampires, the final part.
Bye.
See you lads.